Salvete Margareta et Ewane. Right, so in this video, we're going to go over just a select few sentences from the homework that you'll have collected from you today. It's just a 2 out of 2 homework assignment. And then we'll look ahead at what's next. So let's start. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Veni Sancte Spiritus, repletorum corda fidelium, et tui amoris in eis ignem accende. Emite Spiritum tuum, et creabuntur, et renovabis faciem terrae. Oremus. Deus, qui corda fidelium Sancti Spiritus illustratione docuisti, da nobis in eodem spiritu recta sapere, et de eius semper consolatione gaudere, per Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. So we're going to begin by looking at just a select few, a couple from exercise 46 and one in particular from exercise 47. And so I'll walk you through them, giving the answers to each one. So the first one is number 3 that I've chosen to do from exercise 46. It says, sunt pericula in Gallia quod Galli hostes Romanorum sunt. And so just a little reminder here that when we see a quod or a because or itaque, which means therefore, it takes the sentence, it takes the whole sentence and it splits it into 2. And so everything from 1, you can kind of like treat it as a separate sentence. And so nothing's gonna go with any part of the other sentence. So here the quod is I'm just gonna underline it. So this Galli hostes Romanorum sunt is gonna be a sentence all by itself. So Galli or hostes can't have anything to do with something that's over here on the first part of the sentence. So it's kind of like you're taking a big long sentence and just chopping it into 2 separate questions. So that's kind of nice just to know that. Okay, so sunt pericula in Gallia. That could be a sentence all on its own, right? Sunt pericula in Gallia. So remember that est can mean not only is, but it is, and sunt can mean not only are, but there are. Or I'm sorry, est can not only mean is, but there is. And sunt can mean not only are, but there are. And so that's what is going on here. Sunt, it's saying there are. Typically, if you see an est or a sunt as the very first word in a sentence, that's what's happening. It's saying there is or there are something. So there are something in Gallia. Now, pericula, because it doesn't end in an s at all, it doesn't have an ending with an s, it can kind of look singular, but it's not, it's plural, right? But one way we can remember that is because it started with sunt. You would never say there are danger, right? You'd say there are, and then you would expect the next word to be plural. So if pericula didn't strike you as plural right off the bat, hopefully the sunt helped you figure that out and made you go, oh, is pericula plural? Oh yeah, it's a neuter word, right? In the second declension. So pericula, that's like peril. So there are dangers or perils in Gaul, and that's its own sentence, right? Quod, because, and then whatever the because is could be a sentence of its own too. So Galli hostes Romanorum sunt. So I see sunt, that means probably it could be a there are or it could be a they are. Let's see if there's a nominative word. So hostes could be nominative, but Galli could be nominative too. Let's see. So Galli would be the Gauls, and then hostes is enemy Romanorum of the Romans. Oh, I see what the sunt is doing. The sunt is being an equal sign here. So the Gauls are the enemies of the Romans. Okay, so there are dangers in Gaul because the Gauls are the enemies of the Romans. So that is the answer to our first, or to number three. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. Propter salutem populi et pacem provinciarum Romani vias muniverunt.
All right, so propter means on account of the salvation or on account of the health. Populi, of the people. So on account of the health of the people, I think health works a little bit better here. Okay, we're not talking about Jesus or God or Mary or anything. We're talking about something that about what the Romans did. And we're talking about um, building roads here. So perhaps this has to do with more health than salvation, right? So, on account of the health of the people and peace of the province. So, this propter, remember, propter is a preposition which takes the accusative. And so that's why salutem is in the accusative. But also, way over here, pacem is also in the accusative. So, this propter is making health accusative, but it's also making peace accusative because it's on account of the health and on account of the peace. So it's giving two reasons why Romans built roads, in other words, on account of the health of the people and on account of peace in the provinces. So if you disconnect the provinces from the city of Rome too much by not having roads, there could be wars in there. If you build roads, you encourage more frequent contact, and it's easier to maintain peace. So, on account of the health of the peoples, and you could kind of say on account of again, on account of the peace of the province, the Romans, so our subject is way over here, the Romans built roads. And so that was our 2 from exercise 46. Now let's do exercise 47. I'm going to build this one on the sheet here. After a victory, there is a slaughter of part of the leaders of the tribe. So a little something about this first before we do it. This is something that Romans would do. They would, if they won a battle, and then they were fighting a certain tribe of Gauls, for example, they would take the leaders and they would not routinely kill all of them they could, but they would kill a portion of them. They wanted to make provinces of these other places too. So they didn't want to, necessarily kill everyone off and just make permanent enemies. They wanted to build provinces in these other places, but they did kill a portion of them. And that portion or part of them typically was a tenth. And that's where you get the word decimated from. So we think of decimated as just killed them all, but actually decimated comes from the number 10, decem. And if you decimate somebody, you kill a 1/10 of them. And so that they would do this to their own soldiers too. If there was mutiny, if there was a rebellion of soldiers against the leaders of the soldiers, and they caught wind of a rebellion, but they didn't know who was who, they would just say, "Okay, we're going to kill a 10th of you," and they would decimate them. So anyway, let's do the sentence. Okay, after a victory. So post is after, and post takes the accusative. So victory would be victory. Now it's a first declension word. So we need post victoriam. So post victoriam, there is a slaughter. Okay, this is where I need those expletives. Okay, est and sunt. There is a slaughter, so it's a singular. So I'm going to say est. There is a slaughter. Now, if there is something, then that word is in the nominative case. So I want to look back at my vocab to find the word slaughter. And then the word is kaiades, kaides. And so kaiades is our nominative because it's listed first. So kaiades. Now this looks like it's a plural word, but that's the nominative singular. That's also the nominative plural and the accusative plural. So it's in there. It's in that chart. If I were to decline the word slaughter, kaiades would show up 3 times. Okay, but that's the nominative singular. It's weird. Okay. So after a victory, there is a slaughter of part of the leaders of the tribe. So I want to take my word pars partus and then put it in the genitive because of part. So pars partus, well, I just said it, partus. So there is a slaughter of part of the leaders. Okay, so I need another genitive because there's two ofs, right? I see two ofs, so I need two genitives. I've got my of part. Now I need of the leaders. So duke. Now this is a nominative plural, so it'd be ducum. Of part of the leaders of the tribe. Oh, I need three genitives. Whew. Of the tribe. Okay, the word tribe is gens gentis, and it's singular. And so I'll just put gentis. So post victoriam est caedes partis ducum gentis. So after the victory, there is a slaughter of part of the leaders of the tribe. All right. And then once I get the homework that you hand in to Miss Bayer, and then I'm able to get it back to you, which I expect to be back in school tomorrow. So I should be able to get that to you. And you're the only class that I have today, and it's just the two of you. So of course it'll be pretty quick and easy. I can just grade those in the morning. But there'll be more feedback on the rest. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to show you the upcoming quiz. I haven't scheduled it yet, so you've got a couple class periods before you get this quiz, but I just want to show you what you're going to do on it, okay? So this is a 38-point quiz, I believe. I totaled it up 15, 20 minutes ago, but I think I'm remembering correctly that it came to 38 points. And the first 20 points of those 38, or might be 48 actually, because I don't think this was over half, but the first 20 points are declining the word lex, which we've already done, and then you've already done it on a test even, and declining the word pars right next to it. And of course, they decline very similarly except for the genitive plural. Okay, so these should be very, very easy. Okay, next, you've got third declension words. Now, all of these are third declension words. All of them are. They come from 3 or 4 different little chunks of vocab throughout the book, okay? There are some I stems, so words that decline like pars partus, and there are some non-I stems, words that decline like lex. Now, even though we've gone over the neuter words, how to decline neuter words like flumen, fluminous, they're not on this quiz yet, okay? I just wanted to kind of finish giving you the notes of the third declension so you could have them on one page, all right? So some of these words you'll see like fratribus, we haven't had yet. I'm going to give you that vocab today in this video, okay? So of course, these are 1 point each. Typically, sentences have been out of 2 points. This first one is a very long sentence, and it has all sorts of different types of third declension words, and it's got second declension words, and I don't see any first declension words, but there's a lot of different things in there, and it's long, so this is a 5-point sentence. Okay, so it's 5 points for the sentence, 2 points for this one, and an extra credit question, which I don't know, I think that's kind of easy, but whatever, I'm going to go with it because that's what they said. So just showing you the quiz that's coming up, all right? And now we're going to take a look at page 47 in our books. You don't have to flip to it. You can just look right here on the video. So exercise 48 is a simple review. How can you tell the difference between the nominative singular and the ablative singular of the first declension? And of course, it's right in our song. Don't forget your macron. So that's the answer, how you can tell the difference. Okay, next in question number 2, it says, give the gender and the proper gender rule for
those 6 words. So that just means tell me what gender they are, masculine, feminine, or neuter, and then the rule that tells you what the gender is. So let's take a look. Nauta. Nauta means sailor. It's in the first declension, and most first declension words are feminine, but there's that gender rule that says if the word means a person that typically is a male, then that has to be masculine. So if there's a natural gender, so the rule is the natural gender rule. So nauta is masculine because of the natural gender rule. So that's what we're doing here. Okay, but we might also be using rules like the Sachs rule, the error rule, or the Lancet rule. Okay, so let's take a look. Lex. I'm gonna have you pause the video after I go to the next word, and then I'll have you think of it. Look back in your notes if you need to. So lex. So lex is a third declension word. It is feminine because of the Sachs rule. Remember, think of the socks on a girl's uniform, a girl's Chesterton uniform. So that's why that's how you can remember that Sachs rule tells you that they're feminine. Okay, Christus. Christus is Christ. He's a male, so it's a masculine word. Primium. Primium is a neuter word just because it declines that way. And so I just remember that because it's second declension neuter. I don't know if there's a rule that goes with that. Homo. Now, even though it means man as in mankind, and obviously we're pretty evenly split between males and females as far as humans go, homo is a masculine word. Even though the Sachs rule might tell you feminine, it refers to a person, and if it refers to a group of people that can be masculine and feminine, we're going to go with the masculine. So homo is actually a masculine word. And veritas, feminine because of the Sachs rule again. All right, translate and give the rule for the case of the italicized words. So there's a sentence here. Christus filius Dei gloriam et praemium amicis Dei dedit. Okay, so translate and give the rule for the case of the italicized words. So I see a positive in here. So Christ. So Christus is masculine. Or I'm sorry, Christus is nominative, I mean. So he's the subject. So this is a Christ gave sentence. So, and then filius Dei is in a positive. So the Son of God. So Christ, the Son of God, gave. Now, in order to find what he gave, I need to look for something in the accusative, because if he gave something, that something would be in the accusative. So gloriam is in the accusative, and there's an et, and praemium is also in the accusative. It could be a nominative word, but it's also accusative. So when I try to figure out which, well, I already have a nominative, so praemium is probably not nominative because I already have Christ gave. And it would be weird if Christ and a reward together gave something, right? So praemium is probably not in the nominative. It's probably the accusative. So Christ gave glory and a reward to the friends of God. And so rule for the case of the I'm not really sure what it means by that. We translated it. That's probably good enough. I'm not really sure what it means by give the rule for the case of the italicized words. So, all right. And so at this point, we have some new vocab. So I'd like you to copy down into your notes, okay? Frater, fratris. It's a third declension word. We know that because of the is at the end of the genitive. And there is another form of that word, fratrum, in parentheses here. And down here under this note, it tells you what's going on with that, what's going on there. So the genitive plural of pater, mater, and frater is put in parentheses to remind you that these words are exceptions to the rule for the ium words.
So if you look at frater, fratris, they have the same number of syllables, frater, fratris, and the stem ends with tr. So you would think that the word would be, that the genitive singular would have eum. You would think these words would decline like pars partus declines. But these three words are exceptions and they don't have I stems. So it's just, so the genitive plural is just fratrum. And the same with pater patris, which is patrum, and mater matris, which is matrum. So you would think it would be fratrium, patrium, and matrium, but they're not. We also have another new word, mons montis, which is masculine. So Latin does give a lot of rules with also a lot of exceptions. And so these are three exceptions. At least they're all family member words, so it's kind of easy to remember. So family member words don't go eum. Mons montis, looking at the gender of mons montis, you would think the nominative ends in s. Sox rule, you would think feminine, but mountain is masculine in Latin. We have clamor, clamoris, which is shouting or shout. And princeps, principis, which is chief or leading man. Now, this is where we get the word prince from, but it doesn't mean prince. So it's kind of like miles militis. It doesn't mean military. So I don't think this was you two very much, but in a lot of the homeworks, I got military as, I got sentences that had that word translated with military in it, but it doesn't mean military. It means soldier or soldiers, but that's where we get our modern word military from. So when you see words like this, do not translate it with prince. So there wasn't even really such thing as a prince. That was more of something that came later down the road. So it's chief or leading man. And then occiderunt, which is they killed. And keep in mind, this is a past tense word. So never translate this as kill in the present tense. Okay? So just copy this vocab down into your notes. And then, of course, it's giving some related English words, which you can also add to your. You can also add these to your Latin derivatives: paternal, maternal, fraternal, and you can add clamorous. You'd want to take a look at those. I'm going to try to keep this video short as well. So take a look at these words. And make sure you, especially with clamorous, to make sure that you're using them correctly if you choose to use any of these in assignments for other classes. Okay, and then lastly here, I collected exercise 46 and 47 from you just today. We did page 47 just now. So on page 48, for your homework, I'm giving you exercise 50. So exercise 50 simply says, it's a kind of a short exercise, identify these forms. And then it gives you 9 words, just single words. Okay, so the first one is oppidum, oppidum. And what I'm asking you to do here in exercise 50 is simply give the case and number and the meaning, okay? I wish that's what the directions in the book said, give the case and number and the meaning, because identify these forms is a little vague. Okay, so oppidum. Now, oppidum can mean the nominative singular or the accusative singular. So I'm just going to put the nominative singular. and it means town. And it would mean town even if I put genitive singular. Okay, and then the second one, Montium. Oh, I see that ium ending, so it's probably a genitive, plural. And if it's genitive, it means of the, and if it's plural, mountains. So that is what I'm looking for your exercise 50. And there are only 9 of them, so that should be a short exercise. All right, I will see you on Monday. Walete.